From the home of the Widener Pride, this is WidenerPride.com. As we continue our series of preseason interviews for the 2011 fall season, I'm joined by Widener football coach Isaac Collins. Coach, thank you for joining us.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Coach, you're riding the wave of last year. You win the last two games, especially the 28-27 comeback win against Del Val, then ranked 8th in the country. What kind of momentum does that game provide going into this season?
Well, I think anytime you win, the last game of the season, no matter what kind of season you've had, it gives you momentum in the offseason. That game is special because we know Del Val won our conference. We know that they went on to the playoffs and they got beaten in the second round. We know that they're a really good football team, but as we talked and went through last season, we knew we had a good team. It just was a matter of how long it was going to take us to pull it together. And certainly from my perspective, it all came together on that day. So getting a big win like that, it helped us in the weight room, helped in recruiting, and even has helped us during preseason camp here with the guys being really motivated and excited about what we can do if we can get off to a fast start.
There are only 5 returnees on each side of the ball this year in the starting lineup, but one of them being Laquan Robinson, All-American, All-Conference, All-Region, Region Player of the Year in the South Region ECAC. Talk about what he means, and a preseason All-American by 2 publications. Talk about what he means to this team as a cornerback and a returner.
Well, the first thing I see, I hope that the guys kick to him. I mean, he's probably put on about 10, 15 pounds in the off-season. He's up to 198 pounds, so he's really kind of gotten committed. Being a young high school guy that played as a freshman, I think the bumps and bruises of the season kind of taught him that he needed to work hard. And I think anytime you have someone that can change the game the way he did, a la Del Val or FDU last year, you're excited about that. But what I'm really excited to see is him really come on as a kind of a shutdown corner. He obviously last season had some great games as a kick returner, but I think what a lot of people missed is that people didn't throw his way too often. So I'm hoping that some people will challenge him. He definitely, for our defense, it allows us to be able to do some different things when you got one guy that can cover one side of the field. It allows you to be able to do some different things to maybe protect or cover up younger guys at other positions.
Widener returns 2 more all-conference players. We got Cedric Clayton, first-team all-conference wide receiver, Joe Wojciechowski, second-team all-conference linebacker. Talk about these two and what they mean to the program.
Well, Wojo is, as anyone's heard me talk about him, he's the heart and soul of our defense. He's everything you want in a linebacker. We got him playing some inside linebacker as well as outside linebacker. He's really kind of taken to that role, but it's his leadership, his aggressive play, his toughness that that I think hopefully will spill over to really what's going to be a young defense. Because as you said, we only have 5 returners coming back. We're excited what we've seen to this point defensively. We think we may be a step faster than we were a year ago, but we're just not as experienced as we were with graduating a really good senior class. So certainly Wojo is going to have to carry the weight. As I said, as a junior, you're kind of the elder statesman at the linebacker position. So it's important for him to be a great leader and make sure he's doing all the little things right so that hopefully the younger players can follow him. And in terms of Cedric, I can't be more pleased with what Cedric's done. In terms of being injured most of the year last year, people didn't know that. He had a knee issue. This preseason, knock on wood, he's been healthy. He's been a tremendous leader in the off season with lifting and running and even getting the guys together in the summer to work out and run together. So he's done a really great job from a leadership standpoint, and he's been right on pace as we go through preseason camp here. We're doing some really neat things.
You look at the offense and the defense this year, a lot of quality players, like you said, are coming back. How good can our offense and defense really be?
I really think that if we can, limit the mistakes early and we can get into some type of rhythm, when you have a young football team that has talent, the question becomes, are you going to be able to overcome that youthfulness, because guys just haven't been in it. So our hope is if we can kind of step up early on in the season and get these guys experience and get them playing on the same page. I think on both sides of the ball, we have a chance to be very competitive in the MAC conference. We do have some quality players at a number of positions. Our offensive line with the Pachetti brothers, are coming along. So we're excited about that. We got Dante Pergolisi and Terrence Morrison at running back. Chris is back at quarterback, so another year of being away from baseball and kind of focusing just on football. So we're excited. We obviously talked about Cedric. You got Jermaine Quattlebaum in the slot. So I think skill-wise and offensive line-wise, there's some pieces there. It's just the other guys that are kind of playing for the first time. What are they going to be able to do early on in the season? Because we all saw at the end of the season we're playing pretty good football, But our goal is if we can get off to a fast start and make some of those later games mean something, are probably the most important thing. And I think on defense, you know, we got Dan Cosenza and Greg Walsh coming back in the defensive line, so that should give us some experience there. We got Wojo at linebacker and Laquan in the secondary. So at each level, you got a little bit of experience. So what I'm curious to see with them is how those guys that have played can kind of teach some of these younger guys what needs to be done in terms of how to prepare, how to practice, how to, you know, go to meetings, and, you know, how to get on a bus and go make a trip away to play a game and win it on the road. So those are all things that I'm excited about, and I think if our leadership is there and if these young guys will step up, I think we'll certainly have an opportunity to be very competitive. And as I shared in earlier interviews, that's all we're asking for in year two. We just want to be a little bit more competitive and maybe win a couple of those close games that we lost a year ago.
And when you get to our last question, when we get to the end of the season, coming off last year, a winning record in the conference, 5-5, as we mentioned, great season, what do you really, really want to accomplish when you walk off the field at Del Valle in regular season?
Our hope and our goal is that we want that game to be, you know, mean the winner has the conference title. You know, certainly Del Valle's picked one. You know, we're hoping we can do our part. Certainly they're going to probably do theirs. They've been, you know, dominating the MAC conference for the last few years. Our hope is that last game, rivalry game, you wouldn't have it any other way. You know, let's put not only the Keystone Cup on the line, but let's put the MAC conference title on the line. And that's what we're hoping, you know. But to get there, we have a lot more work to do, and we got some very, very tough games that, you know, down the road. The MAC conference will probably be at its best this year, you know, with several teams that I think, you know, that maybe didn't get quite the votes that they deserve, and all the way down to Stevenson, who I know was picked last in our league, but I think just based on what they've done in recruiting and their facilities, they're going to put a good product out there. So hopefully for us, if we can do our part, you know, our mission is to get Widener back to where it belongs. You know, there's a reason why this place has 18 conference titles, you know, so that's where what our expectations are, and that's where we're, you know, really kind of pushing for. So if you ask me, what are your hopes at the end? A year ago, it was just to be able to be competitive. This year, our hopes is that game really means something and the conference title's on the line.
Well, certainly expectations are up after being picked 6th last year. Widener's picked 4th this year in the Mid-Atlantic Conference. Regular season opens September 3rd at home against Moravian, and homecoming is on October 1st against Kings. We thank head coach Isaac Collins for joining us, and we thank you for your support of Widener University Athletics.